6-foot rule so that we can do this. Let's go ahead and start with roll call, please.
Paul Kaufman,
Here.
Aaron Hallett,
Here.
Ruth Johnson,
Here.
Ashley Jones, Billy King,
Here.
Bill Lowe,
Here.
Kim York.
Here.
Okay, if y'all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Our mission statement, preparing each student for a successful and meaningful life. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Ask for,
I'm sorry.
say aye.
Say aye.
Aye.
My apologies. All right, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, moving on to informational items, school closure update. Dr. Monses.
Okay, by now everybody's aware that we are closed through April 24th. We have kind of been in close contact with Cass County Health Department as well as all the other entities in the area. Right now, that means all of our activities events and activities are on pause for now, at least through that date. We'll see beyond that what we can and can't have and whether or not that's extended. For us this week, it's really a week of transition as we move to the virtual or online type platform. We're working through all the logistics. Everybody's been really patient with us. You know, a lot of details to work out as we've been doing that. I want to put out a special thanks to all of our staff members who came in over spring break to help with that transition process. We had about 40 faculty members here preparing learning materials for packets at the elementary level for when we came back, knowing that this would be a reality for us. We also have our child nutrition staff making meals for the students who need it and have requested it. We are glad to provide that service. We had about 200 students signed up here at the beginning of this week. I expect that to grow over time as this continues on. And we are delivering meals to those who can't come pick them up, so there's information on our website for anybody that's interested in that service. All of our teachers have been working really hard to try to provide educational opportunities for our students. We're really focusing right now on trying to reach all kids, making sure we've got something there for them to continue their learning process. We kind of have to change our mindset. When we were going to be off just 2 weeks originally, it was about just trying to prevent regression, but now that we see that we're going to go longer than that, we're trying to incorporate some new learning as well. One other area that we may yet work on relates to child care for critical medical personnel and or first responders. The governor right now is collecting information through his various departments about the need in that regard, and then they're telling us that they would like us to work with local child care providers as needed to try to fill any voids that are out there. So we're waiting on that feedback, and you know, if in fact that's needed in the local area, we'll see if we can't staff that in some way or another and still provide the 10 or less groupings and things of that sort. So that's still something we may work on yet. We are starting to get more and more information about things that are changes in terms of how things are going to work through the rest of the spring. The state has told us that we're not going to have any of our state assessments this year. They are adjusting the A+ requirements for our students who are needing that to complete this year. And so there are more and more changes. You know, we just got notice recently that IB is not going to have their exams this year, so it'll be based on what they've done in their coursework in terms of those credentials. So more and more of that information will become available over the next couple of weeks, and we'll share that out with the folks that are affected by it as we go. We've tried to keep things on our website in terms of information for families, and so we appreciate everybody's patience and this transition process. We are in uncharted waters at this point, but I think everybody's rallied to try to make the best of this situation. I appreciate that. So with that, I'd answer any questions the board members might have.
I did have a parent ask about end-of-course exams. Those then are next.
Correct. All the
Okay.
spring assessments, whether they're, from grade 3 all the way through high school, the state assessments are no longer going to happen. So to the extent we do get students back this year, we want to focus that time on just more instruction.
And you mentioned,
Yes. It could be a combination of any of those. So the question is, would that be, if we need to provide those services in our community, would that be our staff going to an existing location or them coming to us in one of our locations? I suspect we would need to use our location in part because we want to keep that separation and distancing. I think they're recommending to the child care facilities to keep their groups in groups of 10 or small groups and keeping them together and not having students mix across different groups. So my guess is they're at their capacity already for the most part, so we'd probably be looking to have some remote sites within our campuses more than likely.
and you mentioned earlier when we were talking, just alternative dates for graduation.
So at this point, we know prom will not be able to be held because of the constraints that are related to this. Graduation, as I understand it, Jackson County has a provision for no groups more than 10 through May 15th, which is our graduation date. So we are looking at alternate dates, should we be allowed to have it at the current facility at just a later date. And in this scenario right now, it would probably be within a week after the current date. So it still would probably be in the month of May in that scenario, assuming it was allowable. I think the challenge is going to be not knowing, we may or may not know well enough in advance whether or not that's going to get extended or not. So we're going to have a plan A, plan B, plan C. What I have learned over the last 2 weeks is the planning never really stops because you make plans based on the current parameters, and then 2 hours later they change, and then the next day they change again. So we'll come up with multiple versions of what that might look like. But at this point, we're just kind of uncertain, other than the fact that as it stands right now, we can't have it on the date at the location we had originally planned. So we'll keep everybody posted as we know more on that.
Any other questions? All right, we'll move on to board policies, Dr. Monses.
We have a group of 6 policies here that have been through the policy review committee process. I wouldn't call any of them significant changes, but this is first reading. I'd be glad to answer any questions, or you can submit them between now and our next meeting.
Well, I think a lot of these are legislatively driven changes on several of them, if I can.
It's kind of a combination group. One of them is we've been adding a year of credit that we allow teachers to bring in each year for several years now. And we want to continue that practice that will help us in recruiting teachers coming into the district.
All right, we will move on to action items, and we're going to have Dr. Monses take care of all of them tonight. And trying to stay with the constraints, we allowed the staff to stay home, and so he's going to take care of all of them for us tonight.
I'll do my best impersonation of my supporting cast. And so we'll
All right,
start.
Dr. Hatfield.
Yes, we'll start with staffing requests. At our last work session, we spent quite a bit of time talking about a staffing plan for next year. So what you have here in this recommendation are all the positions that were the consensus positions related to that. I will just qualify it in that at this point, there's a certain amount of uncertainty, obviously, that's entering into our budget planning process. There are a lot of pieces that are going to be moving parts over the next month or two that we'll have to watch. But so I wouldn't say that each and all these positions we're going to rush to fill immediately. We'll kind of take them case by case and try to evaluate both the talent candidates that we have coming in and the priority of adding the positions at the same time. We'll have to kind of play that by ear. So just your approval of the positions does not mean necessarily that we're going to fill all of them immediately. So we'll try to be a little measured in that approach as we move forward, but we are asking you to approve those positions, at least to start promoting, advertising them, and seeing if we cannot fill them, see if we can fill them with some high quality folks.
Any questions? Is there a motion to approve the 2020-21 staffing request as presented?
Yes, I would like to move to approve the 2020-21 staffing request as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. On to shoal door replacement bid.
Okay, as you're aware already, we do plan to expand our early childhood programming for next year to some full-day classrooms, and we have identified 2 classrooms on the east end of the South Hall in the Shoal Early Learning Center for that purpose, and they need some improvements to make them fully compliant with all the expectations there. So we have one room that's getting an egress door, we have another room that's getting a door replaced and some windows replaced, and then we are also replacing the back access doors that go out to the playground that are not in very good condition. So that'll bring those 2 rooms at the end of the hallway into a usable standard. And those are large classrooms. They were former kindergarten classrooms, so it'll be perfect for this purpose. We only had 1 bidder on this project. It does happen to be the same bidder that was the low bidder for the Peculiar storefront project we did last month. We're comfortable with their bid proposal and recommended at $29,320 with the alternates, plus a 5% contingency.
Any questions on this one? Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the base bid and both alternates for a total amount of $29,320 plus a contingency of 5% for any unforeseen construction issues.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. On to the fuel tank bid.
Okay, consistent with our earlier planning, we did submit an RFP or proposal for a 15,000-gallon fuel tank to place at the bus terminal. It would be able to take in tanker loads of either regular gas or diesel. We had a total of 4 bidders on the project, 3 of which that met the specifications, and we're recommending the low bidder of the 3 that met the specifications at $142,533. With Memco Incorporated. And the advantage of this is being able to bid our fuel differently than we do now and bring it in tanker loads. We think we'll get a payback of about 2 years or less with this purchase. So looking forward to that opportunity.
And if I remember correctly, even though it's based at Apple, it's still ours and it's movable.
That's correct. It's a tank that can be relocated. They're going to provide the pad and the wiring and things to mount to host the tank. But if and when we needed to move it, we could move it.
Okay.
Is there any safety issues involved in this?
It's a double wall tank, so it meets all the compliance regulations that are out there for fuel tanks.
I mean, as far as like somebody trying to come in and take the hose off and fill up their own stuff?
It has a fuel management system associated with it, so there requires codes, access codes, and there's digital tracking and all that goes with it. There's currently a tank there now. It's just a much smaller tank, and it's with an individual fuel company provider, so this gets us to where we can bid it with any provider by owning our own tank.
All right, any other questions? Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the bid for a 15,000-gallon split fuel tank from Memco Incorporated in the amount of $142,533.
Is there a second?
Second.
And we do appreciate Dr. Pettengill's investigation into this and getting this set up for us because it will save us money.
Scott Dobson was a big player in that
Good,
as well.
thank you.
So.
All right.
Yeah, he's the best. Scott Dobson is.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. On to the walk-in cooler and freezer bid.
Okay, we do have an equipment line item for our child nutrition services to replace equipment, and one of the purchases they're looking to make for next year is a walk-in cooler and freezer replacement at Creekmore Elementary. We had 4 bids that met all the requirements, and we are recommending the low bidder of Care Sales and Service in the amount of $37,776.93.
Do we know if we've used them before?
I believe we have, yes.
Okay. Is there any questions? Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the bid for a walk-in cooler and freezer for Creekmore Elementary from Care Sales and Service in the amount of $37,776.93.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, on to data cabling proposal.
Okay, as part of our ongoing technology infrastructure improvements, we did seek proposals for cabling and wiring upgrades at Stonegate and Timber Creek Elementary School. These are E-rate rebatable projects, and so we use their online bid process as required. And so we had 3 responsible bidders. P1 is the low bidder at $63,073, and we're recommending them for your approval.
When would this take place?
This is work that would typically happen over the summertime.
Have we used P1 before, do we know?
I believe so, but I cannot swear to it.
Now, it says over the next 5 years. Are we gonna have to revisit?
For this particular one, I think you might be one ahead there, Mr. Kaufman. So the next item is the 5-year lease.
Okay,
So this is just for our internal wires within the buildings themselves.
okay.
This is for those expected increase in connections
Right.
in that 5-year period.
So is there a motion then to approve, to partner with P1 to upgrade the cabling at Stonegate and Timber Creek for $63,073?
I'd like to move to approve the proposal to upgrading the cabling at Stonegate and Timber Creek from P1, the amount of $63,073.
Is there a second?
Second?
Any other discussion or questions?
Just to clarify, it is mentioned in the comments here that it's to expand our capacity, that we had continued to expect to add devices over a period of time.
So this
that's-
plays into the 5-year plan that they're working
Correct,
on?
correct.
Okay.
They're actually working on a 10-year plan at this
Okay.
point, so.
All right. Any other discussion or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, on to update fiber connection contract.
Okay, so we have fiber connections in between our buildings that is leased fiber. We put that out through an E-rate bid process, which is an online formal process. We do get a 50% reimbursement through E-rate on this process. We only had one vendor provide a bid, and that was Unite Private Network, who's our current provider on our fiber connections between the buildings. Their annual amount's $15,540.
Is there a motion?
I move to approve the E-rate eligible bid from United Private Network to provide a 10-gig fiber connection between East Middle School and Shull Elementary in the amount of $15,540 annually.
Is there a second?
A second?
Any other discussion or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. On to MSBA Board of Director nomination.
Our president is interested in continuing her service on the MSBA Board of Directors, and she needs your endorsement to do that election process.
Any questions? Is there a motion?
I move to approve the nomination of Ruth Johnson for MSBA Region 4 Board of Director Representative.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other questions or discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 All right, motion passes. On to committee reports. I don't think we have any tonight, as most things have been shut down. So when we start those back up, we'll get back to that.
Well, the Wellness Committee was planning a dodgeball tournament for the 28th, but I was hoping we could get a representative team from the board to go in and play dodgeball against some of these kids. So when that comes back up, everybody be prepared.
All right.
I think the right term is battle ball or something
Battle
like
ball,
that. I think
that's
it's
right.
battle ball now.
On to superintendent's report.
Well, I just want to reiterate how pleased I am with our entire staff. They really have stepped up to the plate in this challenging situation. And likewise, I'm very appreciative of our families and the flexibility of our students and parents as we kind of navigate this uncharted water. We're going to learn through this together. It's going to teach us a lot about what we do and how we can improve things for our students. So we'll continue to work on the logistics, and all I would do is encourage the public that if you're not getting what you need in terms of information, do not hesitate to pick up the phone, give us a call. We'll do whatever we can to make sure we meet your needs, whether it's for learning materials, child nutrition, or other things. So keep those communication lines open, and we'll try to provide as much support as we can. But hats off to our team for the work they've done so far and what they will be doing over the next 5 weeks.
If they do have questions, do they reach out to their principal first?
Yeah, start with their school building, and if they're not successful there, they can call the district office.
Board of Education comments. I think the board would just like to reiterate that we sincerely appreciate the immense work that our teachers and staff have put in to all of this process and all that they're doing every day, and the time that they've committed to this and will do. And it's very apparent the love our teachers have for their students every day and how they miss being in the classrooms with their students just as much as the kiddos miss it. So thank you to all of our teachers and staff for all the hard work they're doing.
And I would just say that I know this is not how we wanted to start something like this, obviously, but just the opportunities that are possible on down the road are tremendous. So, it's appreciate the families being patient and understanding, but also realizing, they have an opportunity here to see what can really fit.
Oh, and reminder that the April elections did get put back to June 2nd. So board elections will be on June 2nd. All right. Moving on to calendar of events, our next board meeting is April 23rd, 6 p.m. closed, 7 p.m. open, and we are adjourned. Thank you, guys.